The world can be a strange and frightening place, full of many horrible and horrifying creatures. But, as is with all dark subject matter, there is an undeniable morbid curiosity regarding just such creatures. Today, we're going to crack open a cryptid case study and take a closer look at one of these entities. When one hears the word vampire, most often visions of the charming and hypnotic Dracula come to mind. However, the world is full of many, oftentimes far more frightening variants of vampire kind. Today, we'll be examining one of the most gruesome of these vampires, the nightmarish Penanggalan. This horrific being originates from Malaysian folklore. During the day, you would have no idea the true nature of this being. That's because in the light of day, she appears as a normal, oftentimes strikingly beautiful young woman. But as soon as night falls, the true terror reveals itself. The Penanggalan's head then removes itself from her body. In the dead of night, this creature flies into the darkness as a disembodied head with its organs connected via viscera and following behind it. Its long black hair is matted and tangled like grasping tendrils searching for its next victim. Its eyes glow a bloody red and its fangs are long and vicious. There are various versions as far as the story of this creature's origins go. However, the most common is that the creature was once a normal human woman. Seeking supernatural powers, she made a forbidden pact with a powerful demon. The pact itself was not what created the Penanggalan. It was her breaking the pact that cursed her. In exchange for the powers, the woman swore not to eat meat for 40 days. However, as she neared the end of her 40 days, she found herself being tempted by a succulent feast. Her desire for the food caused her to momentarily forget about her deal, and in that moment, the pact was broken and she became a cursed vampiric creature. Another common origin story for the Penanggalan is that originally it was an ugly young woman with a face only a mother could love. Because of this, young men avoided her and she grew bitter and alone. Because of this, she grew desperately angry and jealous at married women with children, and they became the focus of her hatred. She went on a rampage, murdering innocent pregnant women because they had the lives she could never have herself. When she was finally captured, justice was swift and brutal. The villagers hung her by the neck from a tall tree and then tied her legs to a raging bull. They then released the bull, and the force from it running was strong enough to snap her neck away from her body, pulling out her organs. The neck and organs were left to hang overnight as a reminder. However, the following morning, the head was gone. The villagers didn't know it at the time, but they had just unleashed a horrific and deadly demon. The Penanggalan feeds upon people in their sleep. If it can find a way into their home, it will devour their blood as they sleep. While this is not always deadly in itself to adults, it is said to leave the victim with an awful, wasting disease that can only be cleansed away by a shaman. One group in particular is especially vulnerable to the Penanggalan, as they are its favorite food source: pregnant women and newborn children. If a crack or crevice is left in the room where the expecting mother sleeps, she is vulnerable to attack. The Penanggalan will stretch out its long, sharp, invisible tongue and snake it through the crack. It will then attach itself to the sleeping mother and feed. It is incredibly important to make sure your newborn's room is secure. Because if a Penanggalan can somehow get in, it will not just feed on the newborn's blood itself, but devour its soft flesh entirely. Due to their food preference, oftentimes Penanggalans will choose to work as midwives, granting them access to pregnant women and children day and night. According to folklore, one must be very careful when selecting a midwife. It's said that if she smells strongly of vinegar, to cast her out immediately, as you are in the presence of one of these fearsome beasts. The reason the smell of vinegar is a giveaway is due to the methods in which the Penanggalan preserves its body. You see, while the head is detached, the hollow body is incredibly vulnerable. Without the head and organs, the body begins to rapidly decay. This is where the vinegar comes in. While out hunting, a Penanggalan will soak its body in vinegar, thus preserving it until it returns. It will also soak its organs in the vinegar when returning home to cleanse them and prepare to reinsert them into its body. Thus, a powerful, ever-present scent of vinegar lingers during the day, even while disguised. It's said that the best way to kill a Penanggalan is to set up a trap for it. If you are able to find the creature's hollow body, you are to fill its neck hole with broken glass. The creature cannot sniff out glass such as it could with a metal knife, and will have no idea of the danger it's about to face. When returning its organs to its body, it will be slashed and torn apart, killing it. While it is possible to kill a Penanggalan by openly attacking its organs while it flies about, this is incredibly dangerous and would not be recommended, as the creature's lightning-fast tendrils would make quick work of you, so stealth is often the best way to go. However, if you're not fortunate enough to know the location of the body, there are at least methods to keep the Penanggalan away from you and your family. It's said that by lining your windowsill with thorny leaves or branches, the Penanggalan will hesitate to enter. If she tries, her entrails will be torn and snagged by the thorns, temporarily distracting her and rendering her vulnerable to attack. Unable to focus on you while she works to detangle herself, you can strike with a sharp blade, ending her reign of terror. Given the creature's vulnerability to sharp objects, it greatly fears them. So one more tactic used to keep it at bay is the stowing of knives and scissors near sleeping pregnant women. Once again, should it feed upon the woman, it would be distracted and vulnerable, so a loved one could run into the room, grab the weapon, and make quick work of the beast. There are many different variations of this terrifying entity, depending on which country or culture you ask. However, regardless of the name and exact details, the Penanggalan is an ever-present nightmare to the pregnant women of Southeast Asia. All things considered, sleeping with a knife no longer seems like such a strange idea. Well, that's all for today's report. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. There's more creepy content every Monday and Friday to satisfy your appetite for horror. Until next time, stay creepy.